Not one lead has materialized. Doherty says law enforcement continued its intense manhunt throughout the day, searching the river by air and on foot.
The president of UPrep High School in Rochester retired today. He's been criticized for not allowing the school's first African-American valedictorian to give a speech at graduation.
From the hospital straight to the courtroom, the suspect in the double homicide in Waterloo faces a judge and the family of one of the victims. Plus, an agreement has been reached. Find out who the city of Rochester has chosen to manage the Blue Cross Arena right now on News 10 NBC at 7.
New at 7, the man accused of covering up his girlfriend's deadly overdose has been indicted. Scott Perneski was taken into custody back in May for tampering with physical evidence. Police say in February, Perneski was in a room at the Motel 6 on Buell Road in Gates when his 40-year-old girlfriend, Jennifer Baker, died of a heroin overdose. Instead of calling for help, investigators say Perneski hid the drugs, wrapped Baker's body in sheets, and then left. He remains behind bars at the Monroe County Jail without bail.
Meanwhile, police now say they have the gunman behind a deadly triple shooting in Rochester. Today, the RPD revealed it has arrested 28-year-old Samuel Shaw. He is charged with assault, weapons charges, and 2 counts of murder. On June 20th, investigators say Shaw fired multiple shots in a parking lot on Thurston Road and hit 3 people. 2 of the victims died, 30-year-old William Gibson and 28-year-old Anthony Robinson. A 3rd victim survived but is now paralyzed, and police say Shaw wasn't even gunning for any of them. A dramatic history lesson is unfolding for the Rochester area this weekend. This summer is the 155th anniversary of the Civil War battle at Gettysburg. Happening right now, Rochester's Puerto Rican Festival brings some extra celebration this year. Thousands of Puerto Ricans are marking it for the first time since they relocated to Rochester after Hurricane Maria and found a community eager to help. Casey Jones is live from the festival right now. Casey, what's going on out there?
A chaotic scene in Henrietta as a dump truck takes out more than a dozen power poles, trapping drivers beneath live wires. It happened right in front of Rush Henrietta High School on Lehigh Station Road this afternoon. Thankfully, there were no injuries, but there is a lot of destruction.
New at 6, one of the oldest buildings in Elba is a scorched ruin after a huge fire. At about 9 this morning, firefighters say they found fire and smoke on both levels of the Stumbling Inn bar on Route 98. Fire departments from 3 counties responded. The 2 owners of the building were inside, but were able to get out safely. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. Still to come on News 10 NBC, the hours are counting down to one of the biggest announcements of the Trump administration. We'll get a peek at what to expect when the president picks a new Supreme Court justice after the break. All right, we start tonight with breaking news. The discovery of a dead man in Rochester is now being investigated as an unattended death. A little before 4 this afternoon, police were called to a house on University Avenue. Investigators aren't saying who the man was or how he died until they can reach his family. We'll stay on top of the situation and have updates on News 10 NBC and online on WHEC.com. And we have a breaking news update for you tonight. A Webster man is in critical condition tonight after his car ran off the road in Sweden. Early this morning, the Monroe County Sheriff's Office reports 23-year-old Travis Schumacher lost control of his car in a curve on Salmon Creek Road. The car ran into a ravine and hit a tree. Also breaking tonight, a Rochester motorcyclist is now facing charges for a crash that left him and a child in the hospital.
Oh, you'll be on camera 3. On camera 3, okay. Yeah, cool.
We'll buy your car even if you don't buy ours.
New at 7, 2 people pleaded guilty in connection to a massive cocaine trafficking ring bust.
Rochester police are investigating a scary souvenir that brought out the bomb squad. Police and firefighters rushed to a house on Navarro Road this morning. According to investigators, the house had recently been sold, and in the process of cleaning up, the new owner discovered what looked like a hand grenade. The scene was blocked off as the bomb squad responded. Explosives experts got the device out of the house and declared it safe. At last word, police were still trying to establish if the grenade was actually live or inert.
Steady, consistent, and with a great sense of humor and self, Nick wanted to be the best at whatever he put his mind to.
They're calling him friend, athlete, hero, and tonight a grieving community saying goodbye to a state trooper killed in the line of duty. The funeral for 29-year-old Trooper Nicholas Clark was today in Allegheny County. Clark was killed Monday dealing with a domestic call in the town of Irwin. News 10 NBC's Beth Cefalu reports his death brought out a big family in mourning and support. Beth?
Charles, the funeral was held at Alfred University, where Trooper Nicholas Clark played college football. While the location was chosen because of Clark's ties to the college, it was also chosen for its big size and for good reason. The funeral was packed with thousands of supporters, all saying farewell.
A sea of blue flooded small-town Alfred Sunday, giving New York State Trooper Nicholas Clark a final salute.
As a troop commander, your main concern is that every one of your guys come home every day, and when one of your guys doesn't come home, it's a big hole, it's a big loss for us. Nick was a great guy.
Only 3 years on the force, and thousands turned out to pay respects, some coming from thousands of miles away.
We are all brothers. It doesn't matter the badge, it doesn't matter the patch. When one of us goes down, it's like a family member going down.
Investigators say 29-year-old Clark died Monday while responding to a domestic call in the town of Irwin near Corning. State police say Stephen Kiley, a Bradford Central School principal, pulled the trigger on Clark and then himself. Governor Andrew Cuomo telling reporters Sunday the horrific tragedy, a grim reminder of how dangerous it is to work in the line of duty.
On any given day, any man or woman of law enforcement can leave the home and never come home again.
Before the Shield, Clark was an amazing athlete involved in wrestling and football, described as a winner both on and off the field by fellow players.
Just devastating news, obviously. It really shook the whole community, the whole Alfred community. Legends never die. Nick's a legend.
Trooper Clark is the second New York State trooper killed while responding to a domestic call in just under a year. He is survived by his mother, his father, and his brother. In the studio tonight, Beth Cefalu for News 10 NBC.
Livingston County Sheriff Thomas Doherty says his department will scale back its search for a man he's described as armed and dangerous. Authorities say David Clyde Morgan pointed a gun at a Geneseo police officer during a routine traffic stop Wednesday, then ran away. Sheriff Doherty told reporters this afternoon not one lead has materialized. Doherty says law enforcement continued its intense manhunt throughout the day, searching the river by air and on foot. He says Morgan could be holed up in a dense wooded area, and he could also be long gone. Morgan is also wanted in North Carolina for violating his probation.
We're talking to his family down there in North Carolina to see if they have heard from him. They have not at this point. And we're going to focus really up here now. As the sheriff said, he still could be in this area, and if he is, he's going to trip up. He's going to make a mistake.
We haven't had any reports of burglaries in the area, meaning break-ins. We haven't had any stolen vehicles that have been reported. Usually when something like this, you either get a spotting or a stolen something that leads you somewhere. We have no trail to follow.
Doherty says he will scale back the search at this point. However, he asks if you have any information related to this investigation or see something suspicious, please call 911.